I was playing music in my room, dancing and thinking about Sam. Then suddenly, crash! My door bursts open and my dad was standing there yelling, "Give me your phone right now!" I knew he was going to read the messages between us, and he wasn't going to like what he saw. When I was 15, I got my very first job. I remember the day like it was yesterday. I remember getting dropped off by my dad in his red convertible car and feeling nervous as I walked up the path towards the diner. And as I opened the door and took a step inside, I instantly made eye contact with a tall, handsome young man with green eyes and beautiful blonde hair. It felt like time had slowed down and I was stuck into his gaze. When I snapped out of it, he was standing right in front of me. I took his hand and he said, "Hello, I'm Sam. Nice to meet you." I replied nervously and said, "I'm Val. Nice to meet you too." I couldn't stop looking at him until I saw my coworker's hand in the air waving me over. We both laughed as I walked towards her. She could tell I was spaced out. It felt like love at first sight. I'd never felt this way in my life. As our work shift continued to go by, he asked me how old I was. I said 20 jokingly when really, I was only 15. I then asked him his age, and he replied with 22. I couldn't believe it. He looked so young. I then told him I was joking and that I was actually only 15. As my shift was ending, I sat down next to him and helped him fold some silverware. I asked him for his phone number and told him that we should hang out sometime. The next day, he asked if I wanted to come to his place after work. I tried to play it cool, but I couldn't. "Yes!" I said excitedly before he'd even finished a sentence. I couldn't stop smiling for the rest of the day. We sat on his bed and talked all night, and then right before I left, we kissed. It didn't feel planned or forced. I'm not even sure who started it. It just happened. But I felt like I was floating in the clouds. It felt magical. A few days later, I was playing music in my room, dancing and thinking about Sam. I felt like I was in a movie. Then suddenly, crash! My door bursts open and my dad was standing there yelling, "Give me your phone right now! I've told you to turn the music down 5 times!" I hadn't even heard him once. I'd been in my own world. I unplugged my phone and handed it over. As soon as my dad's hand closed around it, my heart sank in my chest. I knew he was going to read the messages between us, and he wasn't going to like what he saw. I tried to grab it back from him, but he pulled it away from me, turning his back. Then, silence. He was reading my messages. "Who's Sam?" he says. I tried to explain. I lied and told him he was only 17, but he wouldn't listen. I'd never seen him so angry. He said he was going to call the police. I begged and pleaded with him not to, but he wouldn't listen. The police arrived at my house at 2 in the morning. They took my phone and Sam got arrested. I was forced to quit my job and banned from seeing or having any contact with Sam at all. But it wasn't that easy. We hadn't known each other for long, but we loved each other. Sam was released on bail and his court date was set for a few months' time. I got my friend who I worked with to pass a message on to him, saying how sorry I was and if we could meet. He'd been told to have 0 communications with me, but he came to meet me anyway. I told him that I really liked him and that I was sorry. He then asked me, "Did I ever hurt you? Do you think there's anything wrong with me having feelings for you? I didn't hurt you in any way, did I?" I said, "No, of course not. I didn't know how serious the law was. I've never been in this position." When Sam's court case came in, he got convicted of statutory rape and given a suspended sentence, meaning he didn't get put in prison but would have been if ever got caught doing anything wrong. The judge told him that he knew he wasn't any danger to society, or a rapist. He simply had to follow the rules because it's the law. That anyone under the age of 18 who interacts with anyone above the age of consent is against the law. Even this couldn't keep us apart though. 2 years passed and Sam and I were still sneaking around. I would stay at his house a lot. Sam and I had so much fun together. We would watch movies, eat, and fall asleep together. I would lie to my parents and tell them that I was at a friend's house. I was turning 18 soon, and I asked Sam if he wanted me to get a lawyer to drop the no contact order. He said, of course. So that became my mission. After a lot of hard work and court cases, we finally got the no contact order dropped. That was the happiest day of my life. I'm 20 now and Sam is 27, and we're 2 years into our relationship being public. We're more in love than ever. He's my soulmate. Many people have different opinions about our journeys, but no one has a problem with us being together if they first meet us, as it's only a 7-year difference. We understand that the law is there for a reason, and we respect that, but we also know that every case is different. I hope one day we can go back to court and have Sam's conviction removed from his record, so that when he looks for a job, it isn't always chasing him around like a dark cloud.